Okay, and we're live. Thank you very much for joining us, everyone. As you come in, please smash that like button. Let us know where you're coming in from. Say hello. Bob, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, it's up to 45 degrees outside, so that massive snowfall that we got
Mm,
on that I was out. I put a video out. I think it was Friday or Saturday of me running the snow blower and cleaning my driveway off,
mm.
which was pretty exciting because Tuesday of that week, last week, it was 74 degrees, and then Wednesday it was like 65 or so.
Mm.
And then I woke up the next morning to like 6 inches of snow on the ground outside.
Wow. So is it still pretty like is the weather getting to the point where it's kind of up and down there because of the time of year? Like it's kind of going, is it spring? Is it not spring? Is it spring? Is it not spring kind of thing?
Yeah, it does that thing. It's like, winter is your mom.
Mm.
Back when she was mad at you as a kid, she'd come into your room and yell at you. And then she'd turn and walk away. But after she got a couple steps down the hall, she'd turn around and come back in and say, and another thing. That's kind of what winter does this time of year.
Right, right. Yeah, it's the same here. It's like one day it's like I need like more blankets for my bed, and then the next day it's like, oh, it's feeling humid now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's crazy. Yeah.
I'm not seeing any comments pop up. Is my
No, what's
screen not
going
working
on?
or?
No, no, no. It's there's nothing coming through except some new member things. So let's go through those.
Yeah.
Brooke, thank you very much for becoming a new member, and also CBM Adventures. Thank you very much. Yeah, guys, as you come in, maybe I said it a bit too early. As you come in, please smash the like button, say hello, let us know where you're coming in from, and I'll flash your message up on screen. Really appreciate you being with us. And yeah, as I say, that like button's really important. That'll tell YouTube to push the stream out to more people. We get more people in here for a discussion. Hey, Daniel, how you doing? Coming in from New
From
York,
Staten
and
Island.
uh, we've got Haynes Falls coming in from Albany, New York. Wow, we've got two New York people.
Yeah.
Nice.
And from what I've seen on the news from here, New York has gotten quite a bit of snow. So how's it? How are you dealing with things? Both Albany is upstate and Staten Island is one of the boroughs. Um, Let us know what the snow's like out there because I've heard that section of the country has gotten hit pretty hard.
Mm. Rose Bays. Hello, I love to listen to your videos. Been carnivore for 1 year plus. Nice. Thank you very much
Right.
for tuning in. And yeah, congratulations on being carnivore for over a year now. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
it is.
sorry if you can hear the noise behind me. There's just a procession of cars going fast behind me as the traffic lights have just changed. Um, yeah, so your week's been kind of up and down weather-wise.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get out and resume my walking journey and get stuff moving forward again now that my neck is feeling better.
Mm,
It's still not right, but it is feeling better from my fall back in December. But
mm,
it's been such a hard thing to judge because when it's like this, it's been pretty cold for the last couple of days, but the sun has been shining. So the sun will create a little bit of melt
mm,
and it runs across, but it's been at that temperature where as it's running out of the grass across the sidewalks, it turns to ice.
right.
And even with my spikes, I just can't risk another fall right now because
Mm,
my neck is finally feeling better. As you can see, I can turn my neck from side to side, not as far as it should, but moving my head this much doesn't hurt anymore. So
Right. Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
definitely getting better. If you remember, it was not last time, but 2 times ago. So a month ago, I was still sitting here wrapped up in my heating pad that was, sending heat to my
Mm,
neck so I could move it. So it is getting a lot better, but I just can't risk a fall right now.
yeah.
So hopefully, because it's supposed to get up to 45 today, and most of the snow should be melted off, and then it's supposed to get up to 60 something tomorrow. So hopefully, I can get out for a walk and get back to doing the things that I do,
Mm,
because
nice.
I don't mind going out if it's cold.
Mm,
I have lots of things to keep me warm if I go out in the cold, but with the sun beating on the snow and the water and the ice running across the sidewalks, it's just really dangerous out there. So I've been, doing some stretches and doing some squats and push-ups and things like that to try and get back into stuff. But I
yeah.
really, really want to get back out there and get to walking here pretty soon.
Yeah. I can imagine like how you would feel like after a fall like that, any sign of anything that looks remotely like ice would just be like, yeah, I'm not going on that. I'm not going to risk it.
Yeah, it's a whole new perspective, because I mean I jacked my neck and head up pretty good, I think, because
Mm,
even when I fell on trail back, 3 Januaries ago, that video that shows me tumbling down the side of a hill, um, my shoulder got messed up a little bit, but not like my neck did on that fall. Because when my feet came, I was out there shoveling snow back on December the 3rd,
mm,
and my feet came out from underneath of me, and I literally hit head and neck first.
mm. Yeah.
And it,
Um, wow.
and when you get to be our age, we don't even as carnivores, we don't heal as fast as we once did when we were young. But now that we're older, I believe, well, I blame both my injury and my recovery on carnivore.
Right.
Because if I hadn't have been carnivore, I never could have gotten out there to try and shovel the snow, but I wouldn't have fallen.
Mm,
But now that I have fallen, if I had, for whatever reason, fallen back in the shape I was in back before carnivore,
mm.
I don't know that I would have ever recovered, because carnivore definitely heals.
Right, right.
And
Yeah, when you got everything else going on in your body, like you've got if you were still in the situation where you got like blood pressure issues, type 2 diabetes, all this kind of thing, like the healing would have been, or the lack of healing would have been very apparent, right?
mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, there must be something going on, because we usually have more comments than this.
Yeah, I think YouTube's probably playing the funny business. But anyway, anyone has any questions or anything you'd like us to discuss, please put a Q in front of it in the comments, and we'll get to those things. Bob, what was I going to ask you? I was going to ask you about something really. I've lost
Yeah.
it. I've lost it now. What was the? Oh, I saw something yesterday in the news. And I'm just like, this is the McDonald'sization of the medical establishment, right? So now in the UK, they are going to pay UK doctors £3,000. Let's just round it to make it easy. $3,000 if they recommend GLP-1s to overweight patients. I'm just
Oh
looking at
my.
that thinking, this is just like upselling in McDonald's. It's like, would you like large fries with that? Would you like some jabs with your metformin? Like what?
I think what's going on there, and this is just my speculation, I have no proof of this,
Mm,
but RFK Jr.
mm,
has been going after the vacuum cleaners, the jabs that people get in doctors' offices, and changed the schedules and eliminated a lot of the pharmaceutical interventions that they give to kids.
mm,
They're cutting that way back. So now I suspect they're trying to find new ways to promote more drugs to people because RFK Jr. is having an effect. People are thinking twice before they rush off to the doctor and ask about this new drug they saw advertised on TV. And I think between the campaign of Make America Healthy Again from RFK Jr. and all of the carnivore influencers out there that have shown how much healthier people get on this diet is having an effect on the pharmaceutical industry. And I think over the last 6 months, they have seen their profit margins dwindling. And of course, the next great drug, according to them, is the GLP-1s, because you don't have to change your lifestyle. You don't have to do anything. Just take this drug and you will shed pounds. You don't have to stop eating at McDonald's. You don't have to stop ordering from Pizza Hut or wherever it is you order your pizza. You know, when you go out to eat with your friends, you can have the great big gooey chocolate surprise dessert. And all you have to do when you get home at night is hit yourself with the GLP-1 and you'll lose weight overnight. And you'll be all that, you know, stuff you ate during the day won't have any effect on you because you're going to be just fine. You know, and if you look at the commercials that they have for all the GLP-1 style drugs, they're always these happy dancing people doing all sorts of fun stuff in the street in their bright colored dresses and bright colored suits. They all look so happy and healthy. Why is it they don't ever actually use GLP-1 users that look emaciated because their muscles are wasting away? How come they never use those people in the commercials?
That's a good point. Yeah. For me, one of the thoughts I had when I first saw it was like this 3,000 pounds thing. This is something that they're offering in the UK, and it's I just felt like, is this some way they're trying to get around how in the US you can advertise direct to consumer, right? So in the UK, is this some way they get around that? So it's like, oh, we can't advertise direct to consumer, so let's work with someone in the NHS to try and get them to offer incentives.
Oh, I see something there. I was just looking to see if something else was on my phone here. I pulled up YouTube.
Right.
And apparently there's something wrong with the messaging system. Because Charger Mopar, Rick, was on with, I think his name is Thomas,
right.
Target Prime Rib.
Right.
And they weren't getting any comments. The comments weren't working. Because I'm assuming we have several people watching. It's not like there's only...
We got 60 people in. So it's very weird we're getting no one coming through the comments. So if you are typing something and we can't see it, apologies for that. Let me just see if I can put it up on screen. And no, it's the same.
Yeah.
So basically no comments.
So we're gonna have to come up with a way to keep the show going for another 45 minutes without having the comments. This is uncharted territory for us because we usually let the comments guide the discussion.
Yeah. So I will say StreamYard has been reporting problems outputting the streams to X. So they are having problems anyway. So this might just be another thing that's part of the issues that they're having. There's one. Ad blocks, betcha. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit weird that we've got, the normal number of people in the stream, but there's just no comments coming through at all. Or very few. So my comment disappeared. Okay. So yeah, there's something weird going on.
Yeah. So
Um,
for all of you that are diligently typing, trying to get comments and questions in, we do humbly apologize, but it's not our fault. It's nothing we're doing. I wish I could show you my screen, but I can still see every comment that has come through all the way
mm,
back up to when Brooke signed up to be a member of Dave's channel, which is the very first thing that happened. So
yeah, it's a little bit odd, but yeah. So um, Bob's going to do some tap dancing, and then I'm going to do some magic. Um,
that's a
um,
little hard to do in the chair, but if you want to do some magic, I thought maybe you were going to sing for us, Dave.
And no, I don't want to subject anyone to that. You know, like my singing causes a lot of ear bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like we've got karaoke is very popular in Japan, you know, and I don't mind it. In the past I didn't mind going to karaoke, but I would go there to be an observer of everyone else. Like when someone said, "Oh, why don't you sing a song?" I'd be like, "No, I don't want to do that to you, seriously."
Yeah, no, I completely understand that, Dave.
Yeah,
I don't do that kind of stuff either.
yeah. um so yeah, regarding the the jabs for
Mm-hmm.
you know, for getting weight loss, what do you call them, the GLP ones.
Yeah,
um it does feel though that people are kind of, it feels a little bit like people are softening to it a little bit more. Like I do feel there's more people, even in our community, that are kind of talking about it, going, "Yeah, it could be an option."
yeah. Well, and I disagree with that completely. I mean, the thing that they're not taking into account with these GLP-1 drugs, because I've seen some of the influencers that I used to follow say, well, maybe a little bit of GLP-1 to get you started isn't such a bad thing.
Mm.
But the thing that they don't advertise, it's not just the long term users that have the problems with getting emaciated and muscle loss and all that. There are, last I heard, there were 1,200 lawsuits currently working their way through the courts just here in the States
Mm.
on injuries from GLP 1s, stomach paralysis,
Mm.
and all sorts of other bad things that are going to affect these people for the rest of their lives. So you can either take your chances with a side effect in hopes of losing a little bit of weight, even if it's just a little tiny dose. You know, you could get bad effects
Mm.
when all you really have to do is go eat a steak.
Right.
You know, and
Yeah.
it reminds me of the meme that you see all the time that floats around out there on the internet, that it's basically got two booths. There's two doorways, and the doorway labeled "drugs to make your life better" has a line of people at it, and
Mm.
the door that says "change your lifestyle" has
Right.
nobody standing in front of it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's, oh, was it Office Depot or Office Max or one of those companies? They had the commercials with the easy button
Right.
a couple of years ago. That's what everybody wants. They want an easy button.
Right.
And giving up all the things that you like or think you like is
Mm.
not an easy button. There is no easy button to this community now that we're into it, and we're basically eating beef, salt water, eggs, bacon. We're doing straight up carnivore.
Mm.
That's actually easy once you get into it. But the thought of going, wait a minute, you mean I can't have pizza or tacos or whatever it is that you like? It's not easy to convince somebody to start. Most people that do start and make it past the 30 to 45 day mark are like, wow, This is great.
Mm.
But the general pop, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, you mentioned the easy button there. I think typically humans are wired to look for the easy button because, like, as we've, over the hundreds and thousands of years, we have to kind of identify, okay, what's the easiest way to get to my goal? But I think what has happened is marketing has hijacked that and allowed us to think that for every problem we experience, if we're willing to pay enough money, we can find the easy button to turn things off. So I've got this problem. Who's willing to sell me the easy solution to kind of switch this problem off? And this works so well when you're selling a product that apparently will let you find the solution to something without putting any work into it, with only spending money, right?
Yeah, I have to go back out here. I have to find it. It's a post from Dr. Baker. There it is. I'm reading this from my Facebook page because I reposted it. Dr. Baker posted on X. Back when I was a kid, steroid using bodybuilders would claim a certain protein powder was the reason they were jacked in order to sell you protein powder. Today, we see the same stuff with steroid users telling you some sketchy peptide is the reason for their physique. Same scam, same suckers falling for it. That was his post. And it's still the same thing. It's the easy button, it's the marketing. Oh, if you only do this, then everything's going to be just fine. Right. And the problem is that we have been conditioned as a society over the last 30 plus years by marketing on TV so that we're always, anybody that has any kind of a problem, because I felt guilty, I fell for all this with my arthritis that was so bad for so long. I would sit there basically anxiously waiting for the next arthritis drug to hit the market. I'd rush off to my doctor, ask him about it, pay huge amounts of money for the brand new drug to give it a try in hopes that this is the one that was going to make me feel better.
Right. Yeah. I think, one of the most nefarious things in marketing that has been adopted by, it's every area of marketing, whether you're selling computer software or you're selling a course or you're selling medication, is the "it's not your fault" premise. Like the marketing completely takes responsibility away from the target. So you're watching the commercial or you're reading the sales page or you're watching the infomercial or whatever it is, and you're sitting there and whether it's direct or it's subtly said, the whole time you're being messaged, it's not your fault. This is happening to you. You have no control of this situation. And so what you end up doing is like outsourcing any responsibility to whoever's selling you the solution. And, now we're in this situation. And that's why there's so many, I think that's why there's so many, just my opinion, there's so many people out there, whether they're from companies or academia, are willing to say obesity is a disease. And it's just happened to you. You drew the short straw. And, that's where we are.
Yeah. And the only person I've heard say it's not your fault that I agree with, because he also backs it up with another sentence, and that's Dr. Barry. Because he'll, in some of his earlier videos, back when I was first getting into this almost 4 years ago now, he would look into the camera and say, it's not your fault, but it is your problem.
Yeah. And he's right as far as it's not your fault. You've been actively miseducated in the wrong direction about diet and exercise and the effects of those and all those kind of things. I mean, that's definitely right. But yeah, it is your problem. That's
Yeah.
right. Sorry. I just noticed we got a question here. So Deborah say it seems to be working now. So she's been able to put the chat in. My question is that when I eat a good healthy amount of meat, I feel high and I don't like it, but mostly if I need to be concerned. Any thoughts on that, Bob?
I don't. Perhaps, and I'm just absolutely guessing here because I would need a lot more information to make an even uneducated guess. But perhaps that high feeling, just like when you ate a bunch of sugar and it hit your dopamine centers, is it possible that prior to starting this diet you were in such a shape that now that you're giving your body proper nutrition, it's like, yay! And something that you've been lacking is hitting, making the dopamine centers in your brain go, oh, yeah, man, that's what I needed. That's just a thought. I don't think I would be concerned about it either way. Because eating meat is the proper human diet. You know, if you changed over your diet too quickly, you might want to back off the amount just a little bit and throw in something else and continue your transition slowly. But I don't know. I'm just guessing on that.
Yeah, my experience with that kind of feeling of being high, there was moments when I was maybe 2, 3 months in, that I'd be out doing something kind of very every day. Like I'd be walking to the train station on my way to work or something like that, and I would get a euphoric feeling, and I would be like, it's like just suddenly, again, doing something very mundane. I would feel like, everything's right in the world. I feel happy. Why do I feel so good? And yeah, I guess that could be your body feeling like you've it's using nutrition that you're putting into it well. But I don't know, total layperson. But yeah, I don't know if it's kind of like that. But yeah, I would be. I don't think I would be concerned about it. Yeah, especially after many many years of not feeling great. Yeah. Oh, we got a comment coming through. Woohoo! From Jojo. I'd be happy to fill that high. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know what you're talking about there, Dave, because you know, there's just those times I remember back to when I first started carnivore, and I was about 2.5 months into it, and I reached for a paper that I'd left too far away, and instead of having all this pain shoot through my shoulder because I reached too far over to grab something, I just did it, and then I'm reading the paper, and then I start smiling to myself. It's like, did I just do that? Did I just walk down to the corner and back and nothing hurt?
Right. Yeah, that's. I was talking to someone about this yesterday. So one of the things that's amazing is, like, let's say you've got neck pain or you've got lower back pain, and every time you stand up there's a twinge or something like that. And when that goes away, that completely, like, that de-ages you instantly, because it's like suddenly it doesn't hurt anymore. Suddenly I feel flexible. It's quite an amazing feeling when that starts to happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just experienced one of those recently as I was going to bed. Oh, it's only been 3, 4, 5 nights ago since I fell,
Mm.
It's been excruciatingly painful to go from a seated position to laying down, because when you go to lay down, you don't realize how much pressure you're putting on your neck until your neck is injured. And now all of a sudden it hurts like crazy just to lay down. And like I said, it was just a few nights ago. I went to get into bed and I laid down like it was nothing. And then I'm laying there going, hey, wait a minute. My neck didn't scream at me while I was in the process of laying down.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just sort of lay there and smile for a few minutes that things are actually getting better. And that can happen in anything we're doing, whether, be the arthritis pain or the type 2 diabetes or whatever. I know a lot of people, one of the sets of drugs that they're pushing really heavy in commercials over here is for the gut problems, whether it be ulcerative colitis or any of the other, irritable bowel syndrome, whatever all the problems are.
Mm.
But when people, you've talked to many, I've watched the interviews where people are like, I suffered with this for 8, 9, 10, 12 years, however long it was. And within 3 months of starting carnivore, they're like, one day I just realized I wasn't having any pain from that anymore. And it was amazing.
Mm. Yeah. One of the, and on that, one of the things that I haven't experienced this, but it just strikes me, it must fill you with so much terror, is people that have IBS-C and like nothing's coming out, no matter what you do. And it's that must be terrifying, because you must be sitting there thinking, what's going to happen? What, am I going to have to go in and have some kind of operation just to get this sorted out? It must be horrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then for that to all change overnight,
yeah.
It's
just, and it's just amazing. I hope that everybody listening, even though we can't see your comments today, has, had that moment where something was wrong, and carnivore or keto or whatever version of this diet you're doing has helped you. And that's such a feeling, because as I was talking with Dave before we went live, the melt that we're having in the ice, it's just because I fell in December. I used to go out there. You can go back. I've got a couple of walking every day in January videos where I was battling, minus 20-degree weather in a snowstorm to get my walk in, because it was no excuses January.
Mm.
And now looking outside thinking, gosh, there might be some ice there, because I just fell, is absolutely terrifying. And I can see how people can get scared of things, whether it be, walking up some stairs or whatever it is, because they know to walk up the stairs, they have to endure that hip pain or the knee pain or whatever it is. And for one day to just be gone, it's just amazing.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, you are never going to believe this. We have a question from FX Trader. Why do we feel satisfied with one meal sometimes, but need more to eat other times on the carnivore diet?
I would have to say, depends on how much energy you're using, or, if you eat until you're comfortably stuffed, but then later on feel hungry again. It happens. Even I've been on basically one meal a day for 3 years now. And still every once in a while, that's why I keep some boiled eggs and some pre-cooked hamburger patties in the refrigerator, because every once in a while, you're going to get that urge in the evening. It's like, hey, I just feel like I need something else to eat.
Mm.
Now, what I do is I will usually take a pinch of salt, and many times that urge to eat will go away.
Mm.
And I distract myself for 15 minutes by taking a short walk or reading a book or whatever. Do something for 15 or 20 minutes to distract myself. But then if I still feel like I want to eat something, I go ahead and eat something.
Mm.
And I guess that's the best explanation I have for that. I mean,
Yeah.
many people do that, but some people never get to just one meal a day. I
Mm.
know a lot of people that have eaten 2 meals a day for many years that have done very well with carnivore.
Mm. I typically I eat one meal a day, but I do occasionally feel like, I feel hungry. I'm just going to have something else later on in the day, because my one meal a day is typically breakfast. Um, but I think it might just be down to your body's needs. Like, your body's basically saying to you, I need something more just now. And it might be because you've exerted yourself more. You've kind of, maybe you've been working on some outdoor project where you're using more energy, or it could be something that you're not aware of. Like, your body's been kind of battling a potential virus, bacteria, something that, it never actually develops, but your body's been battling something that, so it needs more resources. It could be anything like that.
Yeah, it could even be stress that you don't know you've got.
Yeah. You're
I
doing something
typically
more
end up,
mentally taxing. Yeah.
yeah, and I typically end up having a second meal or at least a snack during the summertime when I'm going out to putt putt and doing so much other stuff rather than just, sitting around the house and going out for a walk and, lifting a few weights and doing the things I do. But, there's so many reasons why you may or may not need a second meal. I wouldn't worry about it, but as long as your one big meal you're eating till you're satisfied, comfortably stuffed, whatever you want to call it, I wouldn't worry about it. And if you decide you need to eat, then eat.
Mm, mm.
I mean, I
Yeah.
hate to always go back to the Charger Mopar Rick example, but look at that guy. I challenge you to find an ounce of fat anywhere on that guy. And he
Mm,
eats 3 big meals a day.
mm. So, speaking of Rick, um, he likes to eat the odd iguana. Um, Recently, I don't know if it was you and I talked about this or I just heard it somewhere else, but um, recently it had got so cold in Florida that iguanas were like freezing and just like, you know, dying on the ground. That'd be pretty convenient if you're someone like Rick. You just go and collect all the iguanas, right? There's no catching involved.
Yeah, I have heard that on the rare occasion when it gets cold, I think it was on the news here a few nights ago about how, people were going around collecting iguanas to get them off their yard because it had gotten so cold they all fell out of the trees.
Mm.
Hopefully they didn't all die off, and Rick will then now have to wait for his primary food source to go through a couple of years of regrowth before he finds big ones to eat again.
Right, like some kind of mass extinction event or something.
Oh, that would be tragic for Rick.
Mm. I'd still love to try one.
Yeah,
I'd have
I
to
would
get
too.
someone else to cook it for me. I'd be a bit concerned about doing it myself, but I'd like to try it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would too.
Mm.
Maybe next time we have some kind of a get together and you come to the States, we'll all run down to Florida and camp out on Rick's yard
Put up a
and
tent.
put up a tent, make him run out and find a bunch of iguanas to cook for everybody.
Right. So there's no iguanas around where you are?
Oh, heavens no.
Too cold?
It's way too cold here in the wintertime. Iguanas are, Well, if it gets below 40 and they start falling out of the trees in Florida, what would they do here when it gets to, negative 20 sometimes?
Right, right. um, so like, have you like speaking of kind of exotic food, have you tried anything like from the animal kingdom that would be maybe more exotic?
No.
No, you haven't, no snake or alligator or anything like that?
No. Now, when I get down to Texas, if I manage to catch and kill a snake, I might try snake just because it's there. But I haven't done any of the exotic stuff. And I don't even really eat. I know a lot of people eat seafood. And
Mm,
I don't do that either because I live in Omaha, Nebraska.
right.
I'm as far from deep water as you can get. And I'm far enough north that any type of the exotic creatures like the snakes or the alligators or that kind of stuff, they don't live here. It's
Right.
it's too cold. It's I saw a very funny meme that is actually kind of true. It's somebody out there shoveling snow,
Mm.
and they keep repeating themselves while they're shoveling snow. We don't have snakes. We don't get hurricanes. We don't have snakes. We don't get hurricanes.
Yeah. um, yeah, although um, the hurricanes would be pretty scary, right?
Well, I've been in a hurricane.
Yeah.
It was the year I was down in New Orleans taking care of mom, and
Mm,
Ida rolled through. But I didn't know because of the way I did things in Florida. I almost never watched TV. I took care of mom, went out to the pool and took a swim, came back in, made her food. We watched. She doesn't like any of the regular TV. I mean, she spends 90% of her day watching the game show network,
mm,
unless the Cincinnati Reds are on. She likes baseball. So if there was a baseball game on, she would watch that, but she spends all of her time on the game shows. So I didn't know there was a hurricane coming.
mm.
And by the time I found out, the roads were already stuffed with people.
Ah.
And I wasn't sure I could get out. So I called the pastor of the church I was at down there. And he and a couple of big guys from the church came over and put the shutters up on the house to
Mm.
protect it from that. And we sat there basically for a day and a half without power until my sister came up with a place for us to go. And so then we evacuated and stayed out of town for about a week. But we were literally sitting there in the house listening to the hurricane go by, hoping the house
Mm.
held together because it was just about a mile and a half from the eye,
Wow.
which
Yeah,
was it was Ida, which I believe it was a category 4 when it hit landfall and briefly increased to a 5. I don't know
right.
what the strength of the winds were. I do know it blew down a bunch of fence and tore a big section of roof off the house. But
Mm.
for the most part, everything was okay.
Yeah. It's pretty, those winds are scary. Like, um, Osaka, where I am, is pretty sheltered when it comes to getting typhoons. I don't know if it's because like the landmass or where the mountains are relative to the city or something like that. But um, when a typhoon rolls through, it often misses Osaka. But in 2018, one came through that like was a direct hit, and it was like so scary. Um, the river near us was like you could surf on the river. There was like people's trash cans and stuff floating in the river, like well, floating, like surfing in the river. It was crazy. It was punching holes in people's windows. Um, and like we ended up being without power for nearly 5 days, and it was forgive the lack of conversion ability, but it was probably 110 degrees Fahrenheit, so it was in the 30s, and like 100% humidity. It was disgusting. It was the scariest thing when it happened, and it had the like awful fallout afterwards. It was really stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we don't get hurricanes here. There was a couple of Augusts ago. We do get occasionally these supercells that roll through, and we'll get the great big like wall of wind, but it only lasts for a few seconds to a minute at most. And it'll roll through. And I mean, the last one we had back in August of last year, not the most recent August, but 2 Augusts ago now, we had one that rolled through that knocked a tree down in my front yard and that crushed the camper on my truck. I'm sure you probably remember that. I showed pictures of that. And when we first looked at the damage at the miniature golf course, we thought that we might not get open again that year because, I mean, it was so intense that it had peeled back all the carpet from the concrete, and big sections of fence were knocked down and trees were knocked down. And we had just had the roof replaced, but we did it on the cheap. They just came in and nailed the new roof over top of the old roof on the clubhouse. Well, the wind somehow got in between that, and the new roof was basically sitting in one piece, but out in the parking lot because the wind had gotten underneath of it and just picked it up and carried it out into the parking lot. But storms like that don't last more than a few moments here.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas, the hurricane, that went on for basically a whole day of the wind just howling and the rain coming down. And yes, typhoons and hurricanes are scary to be in the middle of.
Yeah. Yeah. So at this stage, it looks like the chat is not going to recover. StreamYard and YouTube can't get their act together. So I think we might at this point we might call it this week, and we'll try again in a couple of weeks' time. I think it's an unfortunate time. StreamYard and YouTube are not working together, but thank you. We have had a similar number of people in as normal. It's just no discussion is getting through on the chat side. So apologies for that, everyone. And we'll be back with you in a couple of weeks. Bob?
Yeah, I hate that the chat didn't work because I like it when we just sit here and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about instead of Dave and I trying to rattle on about whatever, which is a lot harder than it looks. But I do want to say, get out there and be 1% better today, tomorrow, and every day. Have a great day, folks.